welcome to another episode of Britta's Always Crafting. This is Flosstube episode 6. So cool to be at a half dozen episodes. And I am Britta Daczyk. My pronouns are she, her, and you can find me on Instagram at Britta Daczyk. I am so happy to be back. Today when I'm filming this, it's July 4th, 2026, and I'm just enjoying a weekend with as much rest as possible. I had Friday off, and I think I might even take Monday off just to really emphasize that rest. It has been very warm here, as it has been in most of the northern hemisphere. So I'm thinking of anyone who does not have air conditioning or is just in a place where the heat is incredibly extreme. Climate change is real, and we are really going to have to work together to solve this crisis. On the schedule today, I have a fully finished object. I have about 4 whips to go over, including 1 new start, and some recommendations for you for other floss tubers, a book recommendation, and a game recommendation, along with a little bit of haul. The month of June for me was an action-packed month. There was a lot going on, so I was pretty happy to get 10,000 stitches in. My fully finished object, here's the info here, is you knew it was coming. I finished it on June 16th, so I started it on 4/20 and I finished it on 6/15, so less than 2 months to get 9,500 stitches. Here's what it looked like last time I showed you. And as a reminder, this is a self-drafted pattern and it is available on my Ko-Fi, which will be linked in the description below. It is available for pay what you want, $0. So please download it if you would like to celebrate some moon joy too. I can't wait to see people stitching this. That would be so awesome. This is going to be entered in my state fair as my own design. And here is the finished object. I am so pleased with this. So absolutely pleased. It's not actually fully in this frame yet, but I have it fully prepped to lace. The mat board is already there. I already put some like felt backing behind it so it has a little bit more give to it. And I have to decide whether or not I want to keep the glass in. I think for glamour pictures, I will keep the glass out. I don't know what I'll do if I have to take it to the state fair. I don't even know if it'll be accepted, but I'm hoping it will. I really like how it turned out. Now I'm going to do a couple of critiques of my design, but I want you to know that this is something that I actually enjoy as part of artwork. It's not necessarily me dogging on my own artwork or saying that it should be better. It's me saying, if I was to do a similar project to this next time, I would like to take these learnings and use them to make a product I was even more satisfied with. I think that it's beautiful, but I do think that there is a little bit of a bump right here. I do think you can kind of explain that away as like, it's a crater, and it does add a little bit of more organic shape. So I'm not like upset about it, but I do think that next time if I do a project like this, I would want to make sure that it's a little bit more round. I think that for me, the letters are the correct size. I like letters that are smaller to act more like a caption, but I could see a person really wanting Moonjoy to be, you know, all the way, almost the width of the graphic. So maybe I would try that next time I design something like this. I really like where I put the initials down here. And you know that's one of my goals for this year, to make sure I'm like claiming my work and saying, I made this. This is the first piece that I've done with 2 strands on 16 count. And I'm not sure I enjoyed the experience of stitching with it. I kind of felt like the loop start is obviously really awesome to start. When you use a loop start, you have one twist of the DMC going this way and the other one going this way. So your stitches never fully like unfluff. If you cut it in half and then rearrange it so that both of them, their twist is going the same way, and you stitch with that twist, basically stitching not against the grain of DMC, then I find that the fibers just behave a little bit better. If you have to rip stuff out, it does look worse, and it's really hard to use it again, especially on a dark fabric like this, unless it's like really in a busy area, because it gets really fluffy when you pull it against the grain of the DMC floss. This is an adapted tidbit from Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada. She has this video that talks about how to make your stitching faster, and she said one of the things is that if you stitch with the grain of the DMC floss or the floss that you have, you get less tangles. And I find that to be true to the point where I always want to be doing that because I get so many fewer tangles. She suggests a way to figure it out in her video that comes from when you pull it out of the skein. All of mine are pulled out of the skeins already. So the way that I do it is that when I separate the strands, or before I separate the strands, I will take an individual strand and I'll kind of run my fingers over it this way, and I'll run my fingers over it this way and see which one looks more natural. Like usually the one that's against the grain is going to look kind of like the floss is going to have little stick outs and they're going to be going in all sorts of weird directions. Whereas when you smooth with the grain, the floss still has little like offshoots, like when you're looking at a piece of hair, it still sometimes has those flyaways, those little offshoots, but they tend to be all going in the same direction and much smaller. When I put the floss back on my floss drop, I make sure that I loop it back on with one end shorter than the other so that my starting end, my front end of the floss is up higher and my end of the floss is down lower. That way next time I pull it off to take another thread, I know that the short end is what needs to go into my needle. That is really complicated, but also this is just, it's a slow hobby intentionally. So why wouldn't I take time to figure that out if I'm willing to nerd out about that, you know? I really tested that on this and I did both ways. And I did find that the stitches that I made sure were running the same way, the DMC was running the same way and didn't use a loop start on, looked just a little bit better, with the exception that if you rip it out, you pretty much need to get new floss unless it's only a few stitches. So yeah, that was interesting. I do feel like this was a little bit too much floss for 16 count. So I kind of wonder what this would look like with one strand on 20 count Aida. I think that that would be a really sweet spot, but I do really like the fullness of these two strands. They were just kind of a pain in the butt to work with, and it doesn't look as nice and clean as it would if it was Aida 20 count. It's just, your stitching looks nicer when you only use one strand. But I did actually wash this one for the first time. I've never washed a piece before, but I figured it was pretty safe given that this was manufactured black Aida and this is DMC colors, so they're not going to run. I just put a little drop of dish soap in kind of a big container of water, swished this around in it and kind of like massaged it in, and then emptied the container, refilled with plain clean water, and did the exact same thing. And then I placed it in a towel, rolled it up so that there were no additional wrinkles being put in it, and then stood on it like I do in knitting when you're blocking, just to get as much water into that towel as possible. Unrolled it and then used the lowest setting on my iron to just kind of gently dry it, flipping it over, flipping it back until I felt like it was dry enough where I could lay it down and it would finish drying. I think it looks really good. I'm excited to enter this into the state fair. I know that my stitching isn't perfect on this because it's not going to be perfect the first time you try to do something like this. 2 strands on 16 count. This is my first full coverage too. So like, it's not going to be perfect, but I am really excited and I do hope that it gets into the state fair. That's my goal. So I will definitely keep you updated on that. I will be shooting the glamour photos of this right after I finish lacing it, which is hopefully after I do this video. We'll see where it goes next. And it's a good homage to Artemis 2's mission this year, which just captivated a lot of people, including myself. Oh, I want to share a picture of the back too. Here's a picture of the back. I thought I did pretty well. I definitely do color completion. So unless it was like an extreme travel, like over like 20 stitches, for the most part, I tried to finish out a thread, jumping over a reasonable amount of stitches to me, which is like about maybe an inch would be like the top limit. So about 16 stitches, and only doing that on my first round through so that I could cover up those really long floats. And as I went on, I buried that kind of float in the stitches that already existed around it to hopefully help keep everything together and not destroy the tension. And I honestly love how the back looks because it's just, you know, it's a representation of the work you put into your art. As messy as it is or as clean as it is, it's still a representation of something you actively did and spent time on. I think that's really beautiful. I just wanted to show the colors one more time before I put them away back into my floss collection. There's beautiful jewel tones and some light grays. Just really spoke to how the photo felt to me. And using colors like these on CrossStitch always makes me so happy when I look at a color and I'm like, wow, that's honestly a gorgeous color by itself. It's just really fun to do, especially with these blues and purples. I found that they were so nice to work with, especially on the black. And just a reminder, this is on my Ko-fi if you want to download it too. I would love to see people stitching it, and I just had a blast doing so. I almost kind of want to stitch it again at 20 count, one strand, and then make it into like a mini round pillow. I think that would be incredibly cute. First up, I wanted to talk about a new start that of course I forgot in my original account. If I ever get my original account right, something's probably wrong with me. This is Breadhead. It is a kit from the Stranded Stitch that I got from my sister-in-law either last Christmas or the Christmas before. I think last Christmas. I started on June 16th, 2026. This is my work cross stitch. Work has been getting very busy for me. I was in a low time for probably almost 2 months at work, and my work is incredibly cyclical. So now it just went from 0 to 100 like very quickly. So with that, I have to set a lot of boundaries for myself, including like I need time to not look at my computer and to actually reset my brain and maybe chew through some problems that I'm working on at work. So when I'm in the office, I've been eating my lunch and then spending like 20 minutes stitching at my desk. I feel like since it's during my lunch break, nobody really cares. I'm in the office 2 days a week right now. We're going to 3 days a week starting in September, which is a surprise to no one, unfortunately. But none of my coworkers want to go back 3 days a week either, so just saying. But I'm trying to make my workday more sacred, more I'm excited to do this because it is a routine. And this is one of the ways of doing that. Here's how far I got. I'm tracking my progress kind of by counting the stitches, but I also know that if I do one length included, that I'm getting about 44 stitches per strand. So I'm at 224 stitches on this. And you know, it's totally work appropriate. People think it's really cute that the toast is popping out of the toaster. It's a way to make my day a little bit more analog for at least a few minutes. So I've been loving that, and I will continue working on that at work. Next up is the other new start that I had that I actually have in person and so therefore counted. This is from Spring Mingle. It was a Spring Mingle exclusive. By the way, there's another Lindy Stitches virtual retreat coming up in just a couple weeks in mid-July. Definitely check that out if you would like to make some new friends. I try to be really online and engage in the chat rooms and stuff, and I met a lot of like-minded people. And so that was really fun to just kind of hang out with them. Obviously, I have anxiety and I'm an introvert, so it was draining, but the sense of community that I felt from it was definitely worth spending that energy. So yeah, check out that event. It's only about $15 to attend the whole weekend. They have classes and extras and things like that that you can purchase, and they have exclusive shop items that you can purchase, but just the $15 will get you into almost all of the weekend's events, and it is absolutely worth it, even if you can just only hang out for one evening. It's a lot of fun and you really feel that sense of community. So this was a purchase from Spring Mingle. It is Strawbery Moon, and it's a new start, and here it is. The Strawbery Moon SAL occurs every June to coincide with the Strawbery Moon, and it's run by Cam the Stitcher, and it's just become kind of a mainstay of the Flosstube world. This is how it looks so far. I have done the whole outline of the moon, and then I have done most of the X's on the bird with the exception of the beak. And I think it's looking great. I definitely wanted to get the bird on there first because my fabric turned out way darker than I thought it was going to. This is actually my second piece that I dyed, and it also turned out too dark. So I don't know what's going on there. Next time I dye fabric, maybe I'll have a lighter hand, but I've been going through the opposite problem with my Cherry Magpie fabric, so who knows? I really like how it's looking so far. I chose Baby Blanket from Classic Colorworks, I believe, to do the moon in, so that should have some nice blue and pink tones to it as I go, and I'll be doing that specifically all the way across because I usually try to follow the curves of things, but I think this will look really good as just, you know, the variegation. Not a ton more stitches on this. It only has 2,100 stitches on it, and I'm 16% done with 347 stitches so far. I also have some other overdyes from Stash that I'm excited to use in this, but I will let you know what those are as I use them because they are not finalized. So again, here's Strawbery Moon by Stitches by Ethel. This is another new start. I totally miscounted how many starts that I have for this month. I have 4 new starts. You know what? It's not important to count them correctly. It's important that I'm enjoying my art. Here's what Stitch for Pride 2024, all of the info. This fabric is Pearl 18 count Aida from Mystic Fabrics. It is very soft. There's a little bit of variegation in there, but it's pretty plain so that my beautiful overdyed colors all from my stash can really shine. And so I worked on the middle piece. We have some love in this floss, which is Lapis Lazuli by Algae Ross. This was part of the 2025 Pride floss colors. And I just figured this is probably the closest overdye I have to representing the bisexual flag. You definitely got a lot of purple in there. You got a little bit of blue and you got a little bit of pink. I think it looks really awesome with this. And my goal with this one as well is to also do just straight across, see where it takes me, because I usually try to color pool and sometimes that kind of stresses me out. So I will be working on the next piece, which will go right here and is orange, over the month of July, and it's already looking great. And I know a couple other people have been working on Stitch for Pride 2024 pieces too, including Eli, who we started together in June on the project, and he's doing an ornament, I believe. And you'll be seeing this every month until next Pride. I have a 4th new start. When I started this video, I thought I had 1 new start. Suspicious. This is Pride Besties by Samantha Lane Textiles. Samantha was offering this as a free weekly released chart during Pride, and she will sell it as a full completed chart starting in the middle of July. Make sure to check her out. I'll put her Instagram in the description below so you can see, so you can go to find this. The fabric is Touch of Gray 32 count linen. It is so stiff, and I'm doing color completion on this because that is my preference on small pieces. Here's what it's looking like right now. Look at this. I can literally hold it with 2 fingers at the bottom. And honestly, I kind of like that. It's kind of like working with plastic canvas, but like it doesn't hurt your hands. So this is Touch of Gray, like I said before, and I've completed all of the 310 on this. And each one of these characters has a background and a story, and they'll all be adorned in different Pride things. It's just so cute, and I'm so grateful to Samantha for releasing this as a freebie during Pride. Next, I will be doing the least used color, and I will work up from there. And here is what the back is looking like too. It's pretty much reversible from front to back at this point. And that is because I feel like this fabric will show every dark color through it, because the holes, like I can literally see you through the holes. Linen is kind of new to me, so I'm learning. Yeah, I actually kind of like this stiffness, and I've been actually working in hand for this because you just kind of roll it over and work on it. I don't know, it's kind of fun. I still like 20 count Aida the best though, don't worry. My first whip is Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine. This came out in the Just CrossStitch magazines across 2025, I believe. And I have spring done. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. And here's what it looks like now. So we have spring and winter done. I will start summer soon. I finish spring before the end of actual spring, probably the day before, because I always wait until the last minute on this kind of stuff. I just have no object permanence. So then I see it and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta finish that. Here's what the spring section looks like. And the winter. I know it might be waving around a little bit. It's because the fan is on above me because it is hot in here. I'm very excited about having spring done. I think these colors are so beautiful. And I'm using B5200 for the white instead of the called for 3865. It is ghosting a little bit. It's not ghosting on camera right now, but when I'm stitching it under my stitching lamp, it definitely ghosts a little bit. I've seen this on so many other people's pieces. The white does kind of blend into the background, and I think it's gonna be fine. This is what the back looks like. I've tried to keep it as neat and clean as possible because of the light fabric, and because I've had to rip out a lot of stuff, so if something is started and ended in its own color, it's way easier. But I do find that these motifs are a perfect distance from each other to not mess up things too much when you do. So like this one, I believe this one right here, I can't really remember, you cannot tell, is actually like one too far to the right or left, whichever one. You cannot tell. It's fine. I love it. This design's so pretty. I can't wait to work on summer. Next one is full of dramatics. It is Autumn Lane Stitchery Autumn Towne. Last time you saw this, I had ripped out a whole bunch of stitches. There are 24,833 stitches on this. I'm at 5,455 stitches, so I'm at 21.97%. This is what it looked like last time, and here's what it looks like today. I got a ton of stuff in. I am more than caught up with where I was before. And this time, as I mentioned in my last floss tube, instead of stitching the exact same thing twice, what I did was I did some different parts this time. So I still stitched the roof and the house fronts and all of that stuff, the chimneys, but I also stitched in all of the windows. So like this motif here is done except for the little pumpkin on the porch. And I really like that because it really gives a sense of like, whoa, I made so much progress. So I started on the road over here, and then I will be working on this side. There's a few houses over here, and they all kind of sit next to each other, so you can go directly from one house to another, which will be very nice. So I'm gonna finish the houses, and then we'll see what's next. My goal, again, is to, in October, have this as a piece where I'm putting in the leaves with the really bright colors. I have all these beautiful hand-dyed colors picked out for it, and I want to do them in kind of like a swirly tree pattern. So I think that that will be really exciting in October because that's my favorite month, and I love, love, love how the leaves look. This is how the back looks. Again, same situation to Nature's Journey, where I know I've had to rip out a ton of this before, so all the colors start and end in their own color. Did that make things easier when I was ripping it out last month? No. I mean, in theory, yes, because it wasn't all over the place. But in general, I had always gone like vertical. When ripping it out, I would have preferred to go horizontal. I like the idea of knowing that it could be easier if I have to rip it out again. This is Autumn Towne. I'm feeling pretty good about it. My goal is to get 5,000 more stitches in this month. If I do that, I should be on track to about hit October. And at least be able to put in some trees in October. That is the goal. And next up, I have Angel Gutetama. This is a design by me, inspired by artwork that my sister-in-law found on Pinterest. I have actually fully charted it now, and now that I've stitched the black on it, it's available for download on my Ko-Fi. My goal isn't to make money off of this. It's just to share what fun I'm having, and I like drafting my own patterns. Here's what it looked like last time. And here's what it looks like now. So as you can see, I've done quite a bit of work. Some of this work was in the first couple days of July, but I'm including it, it's fine. But everything is done except for the fill-in on that like cream color. So these wings and this area of the white will be filled in with kind of like a darker white color. And I'm excited to see it finished, but most importantly, I'm excited to get this back stitch on Gutetama in the middle because it will make him just pop to life. So this is up in my Ko-Fi shop if you'd like to download it and work on it with me, or if you have a Gutetama fan in your life or Sanrio fan. I just was so inspired by this work, and this fabric is so great. It is by the Digi Stitchery called Unicorn Dreams. This is 36 count, and I'm using 2/2 DMC, which I wanted to do because it's, you know, cartoony, it's so bold, but it is annoying as heck to work with. So like, I won't be rushing to stitch 2 strands on 36 count anytime soon, but it does look pretty good. And I do believe that some of this unevenness in the body will kind of block out when I wash this at the end. I wanted to talk a little life update, what we've been up to here, and then I will have some YouTube recommendations, game recommendation, a book recommendation, and a little bit of haul to share. Thank you so much for joining me this far for the life update. It's been a very busy month here. I mentioned that at the beginning. There's been a ton of World Cup soccer happening in our house. Jake actually went to a game, did it all in one day, went to Seattle in the morning, super early, and got back around midnight. It was a stressful day for many reasons. I'll get into that in a second, but he had a blast and I was incredibly jealous. He got to see Egypt versus Belgium, and Belgium has quickly become one of our favorite teams. They're also playing the United States in a couple days, so who knows what's gonna happen. Life will decide for us, right? In the first couple weeks of June, our basement drain right by the washing machine backed up and was doing some weird stuff. Like, it would go up and down. It didn't seem to be connected to our plumbing in our bathroom, which was good, but it was still very stressful and it cost a couple $1,000s to fix, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, honestly. But it is fixed now. Of course, this sprouted into many more projects that we now do have to complete. So it's not only a couple $1,000s, but it's also more house projects that I have no real interest in, like learning plumbing just to learn plumbing. It's usually because I learned stuff about my house, and most of it has been against my will. I don't like being a handy person. PSA, having just like a lint sock on your washing machine going into your washing tub, or at least that's how ours works, is not enough. If it's going through a drain, make sure to get another lint trap thing for the drain itself. It will save you money in the future and or delay the inevitable of having to call the plumber. Our house was built in the late 1940s, so I imagine that this may have been the first time this drain has ever been cleaned of lint. It's just gonna happen. That's part of owning an old house like that. Beyond that, again, I've been really busy at work, lots of stuff going on. I've gotten a lot of recognition at work lately, which has been really cool. A lot of people saying like, she's doing a great job. We love having her on our team. And that feels obviously like really amazing to hear on like a weekly basis, but it also has been kind of throwing me off. Like, all this external validation that I've always wanted and needed is like all here at once, and I'm like, I need to like what I did myself. So it's been a very weird exercise working through that with my therapist of like, all these people are telling me really good things and I know that it's good, but like, why is that mattering to me like so much? Super interesting. I mean, like, my lobster is too buttery, right? Like, but working through that has actually like led to me crafting more and trying to do more creative, expressive things, because I just need an outlet for some of that energy. I want to like the things I make myself and be proud of them, and that needs to be the most important thing, because that's the only thing I will always have. I have been watching a ton of Brewers baseball. I've seen almost every game, unless it was during a work day, but even then I'll probably have it on in the background, and it's just been so fun. I won't say anything about how they're doing because I don't want to jinx anything, because now I'm incredibly superstitious about sports and I hate that. Between the World Cup and baseball, we pretty much always have sports on in our house, sometimes 2 or 3 at the same time. We're just having a blast. World Cup is like Jake's hyperfixation sport, and he knows that mine is Olympics, so he gets full reign of the TV during the World Cup. I get full reign of the TV during the Olympics, and we just support each other as best we can. Some of the stuff that we've seen in the World Cup so far has been absolutely extraordinary, and I'm so impressed by Cape Verde too. They had such an amazing game against Argentina yesterday, and it's just like, how could you not root for them? It was so cool. For Flosstube recommendations, I am so happy to announce that I am catching up on Flosstubes. I'm so far behind that I've just started watching the most recent video, going down my subscriptions list, and saving some of them for later if like I know that I really want to see more about that project. It's a whole thing. Like, this should not be stressing me out, but it is kind of a little bit. First is Curious Crafters. They are Carolyn and Anna, and they're sisters that really just have this kind of academic way of viewing things and interests. Constant lifelong learners. They'll even dive into a topic they've been thinking about, that they've been curious about lately, and share kind of that information with you. And I love that kind of stuff. They seem so incredibly nice, and their stuff that they stitch isn't necessarily what I would stitch for myself, but it's stuff that you're like, yeah, that's good. Like, ooh, yeah, good choice. And so that's really been fun to see. Also, just to see all the knit wear that appears on their Flosstube is really great. They have long episodes, so if you really like to just turn on something and let it run, great floss tubers for that. And their banter is great. I'd also like to shout out Adelaide Stitches. She's an Australian floss tuber. She brings such an excitement level to Flosstube that it's just so fun to watch. She does a lot of like challenges, things to like help spark her creativity to determine which project she's going to do. Right now she's working on one for the World Cup. I don't think I would be very successful in doing those types of games. I don't know if it would work for me, but it is really cool to watch other people do them. So I'm enjoying watching that through her. And she has a super wide variety of projects that you will almost certainly find a couple of things that you really like that she's working on. Solid recommendation. She's a good one. My next recommendation would be Envis from Sleepy Goblin Crafts. They have such a good variety of projects that speak to me. Some spooky stuff, some descent related things, and just like really uses color well. Envis is definitely somebody to check out. Their videos are usually around 30 minutes to an hour long. And yeah, I don't know, just good vibes there. My wildcard recommendation for you, not a floss tube, is The Last Homely House, Kate. She's from the north of England, and her videos feel like so nostalgic for me, almost like Martha Stewart's old show in the late 90s, early 2000s, in a complimentary way. Just, you feel you're inside her home. She's working on projects with other amazing people. She's using a ton of color, and she's trying new stuff constantly. She just feels like an expert. She's the type of person that feels like an expert. Go check her out. Her videos are extraordinary, and they capture something that the internet doesn't have a lot of right now. Fantastic watch. For my game recommendation, I'm going to recommend HexaQuest. This is straightforward and pretty simple. It's a trivia game. It's a lot like Trivial Pursuit, and it's not difficult to learn or set up, and I feel like the trivia is very applicable to, you know, just modern day trivia that you would care about. It's not super obscure. It's not mega hard either. Just a cool game and an easy like game to play with friends if you're like, oh, we should play a game really quick, but I don't know what to do. Just a good game. This is a beefy box, but a quick play. And I always love some trivia. For my book recommendation, I have Horse by Geraldine Brooks. No notes. It's a 4.75 read for me. There is some very dark stuff in there, so I recommend checking out the content warnings before you dive into this book. But the way this story is written is so cool. It's a historical fiction that bounces back and forth between times, but also people. There are a lot of points of view in this story, and I thought it was going to be really overwhelming in the first half or so, but as I made it through, the points of view were necessary, not overwhelming. So it was just really cool to get so many people's perception of the events that happened. It's about horses. If you like horses, I think you will like this. It also has a ton of art history in it too, which is what really, really drew me in. So you'll learn something about the other if you read this. Just highly recommend. It's critically acclaimed for a reason. Read it. Okay, I've been yapping for so long now, and there's another World Cup game to watch, so this last part's gonna go super quick. Just a little bit of haul. First of all, I went to Hirschner's summer sale with my in-laws, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my niece, and my nephew. It was a lot. There were a ton of people there, and I honestly, like, the deals weren't stunning, but I got some good deals for me. I got some fabric, and their minimum cut was 1 yard, but everything was half off. So basically what I would have paid for a half yard, I got a full yard instead. I don't think I technically saved any money, but it's pretty fabric. Got this nice Christmas one. I got this beautiful Free Spirit one. And then I got some Tim Holtz fabric, which people go wild for Tim Holtz anything. This is the purple. It's like a collage situation. We got some letterpress, cream and black. And we got some green tickets, which I just thought these would be really great for the inside of bags, project bags, maybe even the outside. I also got this really fun fabric from Moda just really cool. It has some gold on there too. I thought this might be really cool as like a panel and a skirt, but also bag Mickey. And then this one is definitely for the back of projects. This is a Mary Engelbrett one, whose Instagram is great. If you have not followed her, highly recommend. She has a lot of descent related posts and they are great and 100% her style. So these are ghosts in her style. Will be amazing for the back of Halloween finishes and may even make its way into a project bag as well. So the plan for the next month. And last but not least, I got a sample. Hershey's makes all sorts of kits for a lot of different crafts. And this one is Colorful Succulent Banner in pony beads. Look at that. It was $8. It's so hefty too. It comes on this metal rod. They did have the kit for sale too, but the kit was like $20 and I was like, let's just do the $8 one. Let's get it finished. And I think this will look really cool hanging on a wall. I have a couple of places in mind that I think I want to put it. It's very abstract, so me. So glad that I got this. I was like, this is a treasure. Plans for the next month. I'm going to continue working on all the things that I'm working on right now. I hope to get some bags made because I'm feeling the sewing itch come back. I might make a pair of pants. We'll see. And get my stuff ready to send off to the state fair. So that's my big goal for July, is to get those final pictures taken and fill out that form and submit it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful Pride Month. I hope you enjoy these summer months coming up, and I hope that you can find some place cool to relax and lay your head down for a bit. I really appreciate you stopping by, all your lovely comments. If you've made it to the end of this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to like the video so it gets shown to more people who like the same things we do. The world is a better place with you in it. Thank you for stopping by, spending your precious time with me, and I will see you on the next one.